Okay, welcome to the lesson on energy. Okay, what is energy? Stop and jot. On the top of your notes, write down where you have heard the word energy before and what you think it means. You can pause the video at this point and write down what you think. So energy is anything that can cause matter to change. Energy is stuff that you can't see, feel, or touch in the universe, but it's there and it causes things to change matter. So hitting a baseball, holding a book above your head, digesting food, and heating water all take energy. There are two types of energy, kinetic energy and potential energy. Potential energy is stored energy. An object with potential energy has the ability to move or change. Potential energy depends on an object's position or condition. So, for example, a compressed spring is an example of potential energy because it's stored energy. And if you let the spring go, it'll move and do something. So it has the potential to change and move. When the spring is relaxed, it doesn't have any potential energy. Another example of potential energy is anything held above the ground and is able to fall. So if you hold a baseball above the ground, then it has potential energy because it's above the ground and it can fall, but it's not falling yet. So it has the potential to fall. If you let it go, it'll start to move. So potential energy is any type of energy that's stored, that's energy that's not moving yet, but it can if you let it go. So here are a couple of examples of potential energy. So an elastic held in your hand has potential energy because it can move if you let it go. And a roller coaster moving to the top of a hill, at the top of the hill, it's going to have potential energy because it can fall to the ground. Kinetic energy is the energy of movement. It depends on the mass and speed of a moving object. Basically, anything that moves has kinetic energy. So a large bus has a lot of kinetic energy. It moves slowly, but it has a lot of mass. And so it has a lot of energy. This car is a lot lighter, but it moves faster. So it also has a lot of kinetic energy. So example one, is this kinetic energy, potential energy, or both? The horse moving is is I want you to write down what you think first. You can pause the video and then I'll tell you what it is. So the horse moving is kinetic energy. The roller coaster at the top of the hill is potential energy. This bow and arrow stretched back, is it potential or kinetic? Example 2. It's an example of potential energy. A person running, kinetic or potential. This is an example of kinetic energy. A person on a skateboard is an example of, it's actually both. Because the person is moving, so they have kinetic energy, but they're also at some height above the ground and falling downward, so they have potential energy because they have the ability to speed up and fall faster. A person standing still at the top of a ramp That's an example of potential energy because they're not moving, but they could start moving. A book held above the ground, it's not moving yet, but if you let it go, it can fall. So it has potential energy. A baseball being thrown, it has both kinetic and potential because it has some height above the ground. It's going to fall towards the ground, so it has some height above the ground, so it has potential, and it's also moving forward because the person's moving it and throwing it, so it has both kinetic and potential. And that concludes the presentation. You can try part one of the worksheet questions